Ladies and gentlemen, Eagles fans around the world, welcome back to the Dougie Johns Senior Spotlight Show. This week, we lead with more conference champions as the boys and girls cross-country teams take home the BBC title at Macomb. The boys ran a near-perfect race as just one Van Buren runner cracked the Liberty Benton ranks. The boys had all 5 varsity runners on the first team All-BBC, including senior Matthew Ricker. Great job, gents. The girls dominated as 5 young ladies made the first team All-BBC and 4 more made the second team All-BBC as they also took home the conference title. We will speak with the final 2 girls from the cross-country team next week to celebrate their conference title. The boys' soccer team, they kept up their winning ways, going 2-0 on the week as they defeated OG 2-0 behind a goal from this week's Senior Spotlight guest, Liam Fagan. They also won 3-1 over a tough Miller City team on Thursday. John, why don't you talk about the girls' soccer team?
Yeah, thanks. I'd also like to mention, we're going to talk here about the girls' soccer and volleyball, but just congratulations to those teams, both the cross-country teams and then, of course, our boys' soccer team. These BBC titles are huge for these kids. I think we forget, because we're all old, how important these high school championships mean. And, of course, we're going to get into tournaments now. We're going to get into playoffs. But I know every senior we've talked to, trickles all the way down to the freshmen, really value these titles. So congratulations to all of the boys soccer team and both cross-country teams. Now, girls soccer, they continue to play tough teams. They continue to not lose, which is good, but they haven't been able to break through and win as they tied Woodmer 2-2, and they tied Bath 1-1 this week. They still go into the playoffs playing really, really well, and we've talked to the girls and their coaches. I really expect good things out of them in the tournament. Volleyball, this was one that I had circled last week, and unfortunately, Calvert really put it to us. I mean, they really beat us pretty bad, 3-0. Calvert, as we mentioned, they were for a smaller school, but they were a very good team, and congratulations to the girls at Calvert. The girls of LB did rally and got a 4-set win against Lipsick. Back to the Calvert game really quick. Both Coach Todd and the Calvert coach mentioned how important it is to play competitive games. One thing we've noticed about Coach Todd, the BBC is what it is. I don't think it's quite the level of the Liberty Benton girls team, but Coach Todd does what she can to get other tournaments on the schedule, to get other good teams on the schedule. This was a great local team. We didn't win this time. We'll see you next time, Calvert. The girls finished regular season in Division II ranked 11th, and we expect big things for them, and we'll talk more about what's coming up for them in the tournament coming up soon. Finally, in football, this was a nail-biter as we expected. The running clock started in the first quarter, which usually starts in the third quarter in games like this. It was 35-0 after 1, so everybody won the poll question already, and it was 70-0 in the final. One interesting thing about this, Jason, I talked to Coach Garlock. This is a really hard game to coach. When you've got a team like Arcadia who really just doesn't have, it's 17 players. I mean, it's senior night, right? But you had to be very smart with players who were injured, like Link Garlock. He didn't play much. Some of the seniors saw the field for very short periods of time. Lots of backups. That's hard for somebody like Coach Garlock who wants to keep his team sharp, but has to manage injuries. So, luckily, they're healthy, and we'll talk more about what's going on with Macomb on Friday.
Yeah, John, you talked about the poll. The correct answer that was answered correctly by the majority of the masses at greater than 35 points victory, obviously 70-0. So we got to get a little bit better and a little sharper at our poll questions and set those up, although it's hard to put a number out there that's high.
We don't want to be mean to Arcadia and say we're going to beat them by 55. We're going to do it again next year, Arcadia.
That's right. And our poll is sponsored by Gillig's Winery. Of course, Trevor and Nikki Gillig, the owners there, faithful LB members of our community. So make sure you go out there and support Gillig Winery going forward. This week's poll question, as LB boys football team heads to Macomb for that conference title tilt, as we'll talk about a little bit more in the next section. We want to know this week, which football player do you think from Liberty Benton will score the first touchdown on Friday night? Is it going to be A, Cam Garlock, the quarterback, B, Link Garlock, the wide receiver, C, Mason Mott, the running back, or will it be other? So again, who will score the first touchdown on Friday night at Macomb for the football team?
And if you pick other, please, if you think about it, and you will vote on the poll at FlyLB Eagles on Twitter, tell us who you think it might be on the poll. Add the comment of who the other might be. So,
very good. Yep. In our next section here, we're going to be talking with our seniors for the Senior Spotlight. We have Hannah Hiss from the girls' soccer team, as well as the rest of the boys' soccer team seniors, Ian Rath, Liam Fagan, and John Cook. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're joined by 4 guests on the Senior Spotlight from Dougie Johns, and they're all from the soccer program. Please welcome our first guest, number 11, from the girls soccer team, Miss Hannah Hiss. Hannah, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
If you wouldn't mind, share your parents' names with everybody.
Rob and Kelly Hiss.
Rob and Kelly, fantastic. How about your other extracurriculars in sports?
So I do track. I also do HYL, Habitudes, NHS. I volunteer at the Women's Resource Center. What else? FCA.
Wow. All right, you got a lot going on. Yeah. What events do you run in track?
So I do distance. I do the 800, 2 mile, pole vault sometimes.
Oh wow.
So,
okay. Yeah, a lot of them. Good deal. Obviously, you transitioned this year into soccer from cross country, so sticking with that distance for the track season and a lot of distance on the soccer field as well, I'm sure.
Right.
How about sharing with everybody your plans after high school?
So I plan to attend either Cincinnati or Miami University and plan to major in finance and marketing and a minor in entrepreneurship.
Wow, okay. Big aspirations there. That's fantastic. Have you had a chance to visit either of the campuses?
Yes, I visited both. I love both equally. They're both very different from each other, but that's what I like about them. So we'll see.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, 2 great universities and great majors. You know, of course, we've got Bowling Green up the road here, big in business as well. So I maybe try to throw that one in the mix, but you can't go wrong with Miami and UC for sure. Talk about your favorite soccer memory.
Ooh. So I have a lot. I love all those girls. But I think the best one's got to be our first game we had this season. I did score a goal, so I like to say I was like the leading scorer for like about a day.
Yeah,
that's
nice.
about it. But it's just something funny. So
yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great memory, and that's fantastic. Good for you. How about sharing with anybody your pregame rituals?
I'm not a very superstitious person. I do in cross country. I would wear like my jersey before I'd like sleep that night. That's what I would wear. I don't have any for soccer.
Okay.
But I do that for cross country and track.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha. All right, getting game ready the night before. All right, fantastic. Well, that's a great one. I'm going to sneak in a couple surprise questions here. First one comes from your parents. I heard that you're challenged keeping your cell phone charged. That sound accurate? What's the stumble here?
Yeah, that is I struggle with that sometimes. And a lot of my friends could say the same thing. I don't know. Sometimes forget to plug it in at night, and then I wake up and it's dead the next morning, and I have to plug it in throughout the day. So yeah, that is something I'm very poor at, is plugging in my phone.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll have to good Christmas gifts maybe for the holidays coming up here as you go to college. Give you a couple extra charging stations.
Right.
When my kids did that, I don't even know that they were dead. I think they just said that they were dead and not charged. So a little bit of suspicion there, but we won't cast you out. Last question that I have. This one came from our producer, Mr. John O'Donnell. Want to know, in your opinion, who is the most athletic Hiss?
Ooh. So I'd say when it has to come to like anything with a ball, probably my brother. I'm not athletically inclined when it comes to anything like catching it or throwing or kicking it, which is kind of funny that I'm playing soccer. But I'd say like when it comes to like, I was a gymnast for a long time. Like when it has to come with like pole vault or gymnastics or anything really without a ball, I'd say I'm the more athletic Hiss, but when it has to do with like maybe baseball or it's probably Connor.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
I don't know. Probably lean towards him a little more, but I'd still give myself a little credit.
All right, well, that's a pretty political answer. I thought for sure that you were going to say it was you all the way. So good from you. Get a little props to your brother, and of course your parents super athletic as well. Great Hiss athletic family there. So thanks a lot for being on.
Yeah.
Congrats on a great career so far. Enjoy the rest of your senior season. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big hand for Hannah Hiss? All right, folks, our second guest tonight on a Dougie Johns Senior Spotlight from the soccer team, the boys soccer team, number 4, Ian Rath. Ian, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
If you wouldn't mind, please share your parents' names with everybody.
My parents' names are David and Tracy Rath.
David and Tracy, fantastic. How about your other extracurriculars in sports?
I'm in National Honor Society, Habitudes, and track and field.
Track and field. What do you run or participate in track and field?
Well, my freshman year, I honestly don't really remember, but in the recent year, I ran the 400 and 800.
Okay, so a distance guy,
Yep.
combining that soccer and all that what do I want to say? Your your athleticism and your conditioning all into one for track.
Absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic. How about your plans after high school?
My plans after high school right now are to go to Kent State for digital media production.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Well, I'll have to get you behind the big board for some of these shows, get you producing these going forward. So we'll have to turn the tables here. We'll interview John, and you can run the table. Or maybe you can interview me. I don't know which way we'll go. But share with everybody your favorite soccer memory.
I would say my favorite soccer memory is either winning the league or at my ONU soccer camp, I ate the world's hottest gummy bear, and that was not at the time wasn't the best, but looking back on it, I'd say it was pretty fun.
Yeah, some accomplishment you'd like to do. You ever try to do any of those one chip challenges, or thinking about doing that going forward?
I have not yet, but I definitely want to.
Yeah, maybe a good Christmas gift. I remember us giving a kid one of those, and yeah, it's kind of a disaster, but it sounds like you'll be able to handle it. You referenced, of course, winning the conference title. I was expecting you to maybe say that. First one since 2013.
Yes.
I think you had some brothers on the team throughout the years during that too? Yeah, so you get to hold that over their head a little bit, that, hey, we took down the title and you guys didn't?
I think Griffin, back when he played, I know he might have, but Owen, who's like a few years younger than him, I did text him right after it happened, and I was just like, hey, I just want to let you know we just won the title. And he was like, you know what? Good job. I can't like, he was just happy for me, and I think it was just great to be able to share that with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a great story. How about sharing with everybody any pregame rituals that you might have?
I don't think so. We don't really have any rituals. I don't think we need those in order to win.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about one last thing here. I'll throw it out there. Obviously, you got some long hair, and that's the trend for sure right now. Do you get any grief from your parents about the long hair? Or?
I want to say my parents, more so relatives, friends, anybody except my family, unless it's my younger brother.
Okay. All right. Any plans to cut that anytime soon?
I'd say as soon as the season's over.
Yeah. All right. So hopefully we can get that thing growing out to your behind there and run this thing all the way to the state title, huh?
Maybe.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, hey, fantastic career. Thanks for joining us on the show. Best wishes the rest of the soccer season. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big hand for Ian Rath? Ladies and gentlemen, our third guest tonight on the Dougie Johns Senior Spotlight, Mr. Liam Fagan. Liam, welcome to the show. If you wouldn't mind, share your parents' names with everybody.
Kristen and Patrick Fagan.
Kristen and Patrick, fantastic. How about your other extracurriculars in sports?
Other than soccer, I really don't do anything at the school.
Nothing at the school. No leadership, no NHS, no sports, nothing.
Nope.
Just focused on soccer.
Soccer.
All right, well, let's dig a little bit deeper here. How about plans after high school?
After high school, I haven't thought about where I want to go to college, but I know I want to go into marketing. That sounds fun.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's good. Got a path there. Have you had a chance to look at any campuses or any colleges in mind?
I have not done that yet.
No? All right. Well, this is my opportunity to get my plug in. Of course, Bowling Green, great business program, great marketing program. Marathon, where I work, hires a lot of folks from there. So some good opportunities there. If you need a tour, I know some people that can give that to you. So let's keep BG on the short list here going forward. How about sharing with everybody your favorite soccer memory?
My favorite soccer memory is probably my freshman year at ONU camp when we fit 12 people into a closet. That was pretty fun.
Was there any reason that we all had to fit in a closet, or just a challenge to see how many guys could we get in there?
I think it was Clark August that said we should try to fit a bunch of people in the closet, so we did.
Yeah, all right. Yep. Did they post that anywhere as a camp record or anything?
No, we just did.
All right. Were you a part of the hot gummy bear sampling?
No.
You stayed away from that?
Yeah.
Okay, didn't let Ian take you down that path. So, all right. Clark got you guys into the closet, but nobody fed you anything hot. All right,
No.
Got it. All right, put that together. Talk a little bit about the first conference title here since 2013. Was that a big goal for you guys, or you personally, or just how enjoyable was it to finally capture that title?
I mean, it's a goal every year for the team, but it felt really good to win that senior year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a long drought. So I know I talked to Coach Troyer and Coach Packy a lot, and they were certainly extremely excited. I know that was their expectation as well, like you said. But to finally execute that after such a long drought, a big accomplishment, something you should be proud of going forward. How about share with everybody any pregame rituals that you have?
Pregame rituals, I don't do anything specific. Just have fun.
Gotcha. No, all right. You scored a goal, I think, this past week against OG. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So nothing special led to that goal, or something you're going to try to keep doing every week, just the standard stuff over and over again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stuff.
What position do you play on the team?
Right wing.
Right wing. Okay. Fantastic. All right. Well, last question that I have for you, maybe a little bit of a surprise question here. We were able to reach out to your mom, and and she said that when you were a little bit younger, I don't know exactly how young you were, they had you convinced they had installed a tracker chip in your melon up there. Does that sound familiar? Did you feel like you got duped there? Or?
I think I definitely did when I was younger.
Yeah. Do you remember, how old were you when this was going on?
I have no idea.
You have no idea, but you believed them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, why wouldn't you believe your parents, right? Yeah, fantastic. Well, everybody carries that cell phone around now. It's almost like a tracker chip. So glad that you believe them, and maybe that's something you'll play a trick on in your kids in the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you again. Great career so far. Best wishes the rest of this season in soccer. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big hand for Liam Fagan? Ladies and gentlemen, our fourth and final guest tonight on the Dougie John Senior Spotlight, number 13 from the boys soccer team, John Cook. John, welcome to the show. If you wouldn't mind, share your parents' names with everybody.
My parents' names are Jody and Dan Cook.
Jody and Dan, fantastic. How about other extracurriculars and sports that you participate in?
I'm thinking about running track again this year. I ran it in freshman year, and I'm also in National Technology Honors Society at Millstream.
Oh, really? National Technology. Very good. So is that programming, engineering, robotics? What's the specialty?
It's welding.
Welding. Okay. All right. I didn't see that one coming. I didn't ask that part. So, all right. Fantastic. So I'm going to roll with that, and then I might come back to some other stuff here with track, but I'm going to keep on this welding thing, I think. What are your plans after high school?
I was planning on either attending Hobart Institute of Welding or going to Grove in Bluffton.
Yeah, okay, fantastic. I was wondering if there'd be a connection there. Have you had a chance to check out either one of those programs or visit the campus? What are your thoughts here?
No, I have not.
Not? Been busy with soccer?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, certainly a lot of LB students in that Grove program, and I think there's a couple students down at Hobart, right? Are you aware of any LB kids down at Hobart right now?
I think maybe Carter Oswald might be.
Yeah. That sounds right. Good. Well, certainly connect up with him and see how things are going. Going back to some of your other sports, you talked about running track your freshman year. If you do pick that up again this year, what sports, or excuse me, what events would you like to do?
Oh, definitely the sprinting events or the relays.
Okay.
4x1, 4x2, things like that.
Gotcha. Any teammates out there trying to convince you, or the coach has been talking to you, or you just kind of came up with it on your own?
The coaches have definitely talked to me in the past. Noah Heilman's definitely told me, like, hey, you need to run track again. Like, you're really good. So maybe.
Awesome. Well, a lot of people out there recruiting. It's always great to have good athletes on all the different sports throughout the program here at Liberty Benton. Maybe share with everybody your favorite soccer memory.
Definitely this year at ONU, we do a freshman initiation every year. So it was definitely that. Can't go into too much detail, but it ended with somebody in a pond at the end of the night.
All right. Gotcha. A little freshman orientation. Fantastic. Is that a tradition? Did you have to do that when you were a freshman as well?
I didn't play. I started my sophomore year.
Okay.
So I didn't have initiation, thankfully, but they definitely will. They definitely do that a lot. Yeah,
keep the tradition alive. Gotcha. Fantastic. Well, let's talk a little bit about the this conference title. We talked about that with the other guys. Playing it on defense, I think. Is that right?
Yeah.
We've had a great season. John and I have talked about it a lot on the show, the number of shutouts. What was the feeling when we finally clinched that game against Corey Ross? And certainly a tough one, as I think we gave up an early goal there. What was the feeling or the celebration as we won that conference title?
Oh, it was, I don't even know how to describe it. It was very overwhelming, and the amount of people that were just so happy, and it was nice seeing the smiles on my coach's faces, and I saw him hug his son because it was just good to see that.
Yeah, right. Well, of course, you're talking about Coach Aaron Troyer and his son on the team as well, and just fantastic experience. And after a drought so long, it's something that I'm sure the program and those coaches will remember for a long time. They'll remember this senior class for kind of getting us over the hump. Kind of moving around here a little bit, you talked about Coach and seeing him celebrate with his son. So I'm going to put you on the spot, but there's one coach you'll make happy and four that you'll make mad. So you'll spread out the pain a little bit. Maybe share with everybody which coach is your favorite coach.
AT's definitely like the more supportive one, but Packy's like more funny one. Get jokes along with, he's funny too.
Yeah, like a big kid out there.
Yeah,
Packy
yes,
guy.
Definitely.
Yeah, gotcha. And when you say AT, you're talking about head coach AT, because I understand there's 3 ATs out there coaching. All right, gotcha. So everybody just yells AT and only get 3 guys to pay attention. That's good. Makes it efficient. Any pregame rituals that you go through?
No, unfortunately no, but no.
All right, so just focus on the game. Gotcha. So last question I'm supposed to ask you. This came from maybe a parent along the way. This is one that dates back quite a ways, maybe little kicker or U6 type years, so a long time ago. So I don't know if you're going to remember this, but it was passed along to me that you may have scored the first goal of a Saturday morning in the wrong team's goal. Is that accurate? Do you remember that?
It kind of sounds familiar. I think it might be true.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, man, I tell you what, being on the defensive side, you got to be careful not to do that now, right in high school level.
Yeah.
So that hasn't happened to you in high school?
No.
All right, thank goodness. Well, great memories, and glad to see your face light up there as a memory that you recall and that your parents always remember as well. And of course, you guys will look back on the accomplishments of this year as a senior. Again, congrats on a great senior season. Best wishes the rest of the way. And of course, as we get into the playoffs here for soccer. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big hand for our final guest, Mr. John Cook.
And welcome back to the Dougie Johns Senior Spotlight Show. I want to thank all of our student athletes for participating in our student interviews. You know, one thing that I'll take away from the boys soccer players is how much they really are focused on team. I think every other team had some sort of tradition, some sort of superstition. This team was like, no, we just like to go out and win. Thank you, sir. They were just really focused on that. I think the chemistry really built from that kind of a sense of we, not me. So, and I know all of our teams have that sense, but you could see the boys soccer team really focused on that. So thank you to everybody who participated in those interviews. It is now time for our trivia. Trivia is brought to you by Immeasurably More Custom Designs by Ann Rader. Ann is a Liberty Benton community member, her first year sponsoring the trivia for our show. We thank her, and we'd like you to thank her yourself by going to her company Facebook page at Immeasurably More CD, which stands for Custom Designs, and support her wonderful company. So this week's question is, what was the last year that Liberty Benton captured a cross-country state title for the girls? Maybe what we need is Jeremy Recker to answer the trivia question and then help out other fans of the show. Jeremy, you cannot win a second week. As we move into the end of the show, we're going to tell you what's going on in Liberty Benton sports this week. This is a football week. I will say that I'm really excited about all the district tournaments, and we're starting the state tournaments, but this is football because this is for the BVC title. This week, Liberty Benton will travel to Macomb. If Macomb wins, they will be the sole BVC conference champions, which is a big accomplishment. So they're definitely going to be motivated, and so will LB. Because if LB wins, we will have a three-way tie for the conference title. LB looked this season to get a conference title. They stumbled against Arlington. They've played really, really well, even in the losses like against Mogador. This is a real motivated team. I look forward to seeing what they can do. Jason, if you had to put odds on it, Macomb, Liberty Benton, who wins on Friday night?
Boy, you know what? That's a great question. Both teams, as you said, John, are motivated. Obviously I'm a little bit biased, but when I talk to other community members and folks just around the area, when I say community members, I'm not talking about LB. I'm talking about the non-LB folks that I run into in the office and things like that. I think that we're clearly the underdog here. Macomb has got a strong team. They lost their quarterback, but it's a home game for them. They're motivated to win the title outright. They've got a strong program. So I think LB comes in as the underdog here, and hopefully they can pull the upset.
Yeah, I hope so too. Macomb was so big and physical last year. Nothing to think that would have changed. Let's see how many Liberty Benton members we can get out there and support our boys, and best of luck to Coach Garlock and his team on Friday night. Both cross-country teams, they are going to be local as they participate in their district races on the campus of Owens Community College right here in Findlay. Volleyball will start their state tournament as they host Toledo Rogers tomorrow night. That would be Tuesday night at 6 p.m., and they will be the number 1 seed in the Bluffton district. If and when Julie Todd and her girls score 25 points in 3 games straight, the girls will then play Thursday at 7:30 versus the winner of Bryan and Maumee. Jason, what's going on in soccer?
Thanks, John. The boys soccer team will host the winner of Old Fort and Riverdale on Saturday for their first tournament game, and that will be at Liberty Benton. Expectations are that Riverdale will be a good matchup. Liberty Benton did defeat them earlier in the year 2-1.
Well, you know what's interesting about that? We talked with Ian Rath. He was on the Senior Spotlight. And what he had mentioned during the Senior Spotlight was that he didn't play well in that game, and he's really focused on playing better this game. I think it really goes to what I was talking about earlier. This boys soccer team, and I haven't spent a lot of time around them because we just got to interviewing him and talking to them, they are very focused on picking each other up. Ian Rath is going to look to have a huge impact, and I wish him the best.
Yeah, you're right on, and I think that's something, for me especially, and I know you're starting to enjoy it as well. well as we get a chance to talk to these kids. You know, we try to get them to share a little bit of their personality during the senior spotlights, try to pull stuff out of them. Certainly they're a little bit shy, but then afterwards when you talk to them, they just open up and love to talk about their sport. And good for Ian to recognize that weakness that he admitted to having and how he's focused going forward this weekend. So always exciting to talk to those guys. Turning over to girls soccer, they're going to host Kenton on Tuesday night, first round of the tournament, 7 p.m. The girls are the number 3 seed in the Elida district. Should they win on Tuesday, they'll have they'll have a long break, greater than a week, as they'll play the following Wednesday. Again, we encourage all Liberty Benton faithful to support all the teams as they make their playoff runs, and the boys football team plays in the final regular season game this weekend. Continue to support our programs and make sure we carry them to victory. As we close out this episode of the Dougie John Senior Spotlight Show, on behalf of our executive producer, John Korn, our assistant producer, Ethan O'Donnell, this is Mr. John O'Donnell, and I'm Jason Borman signing off. Thanks for joining us, and as always,
Go Eagles!